What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're talking about the rods I'm rigging up for a tournament. It's crazy how many spinning rods I have in the boat. 10 of them. And I'll tell you what I'm going to rig up for it now. Let me know, is it overkill? We're going to go through each product right now. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. We do videos about bass fishing tackle. I mean, that's my life. A lot of unboxings, a lot of new stuff. And right now I'm getting ready for a tournament. I got a tournament this weekend. I'm going to go pre-fishing in a couple days, rigging up some rods. And I'm kind of going through all my stuff and unpacking and repacking, and I realized that I have 10 spinning rod setups in the boat, which is overkill. I mean, it really is, but you know, it's kind of a whole process of, and I'll kind of walk you through that of how I'm preparing for this. It may sound crazy, but I'll give you some insight on the rods that I'm rigging up and why, and then I'll follow up next week with how I did in the tournament and, you know, see if it was too much. I did a video yesterday about my tackle warehouse order, and it was all jig head minnows, and that's crazy, you know, that's all it was jig head minnows. That's really kind of a sign of the times, and same with spinning. I mean, I've always been a spinning rod guy. I mean, I grew up in Nevada, fished Washington State. I mean, I've never been afraid of light line and spinning tackle. Now here in Texas, still doing it, and I got 10 rods to prove it. So, but I'll show you the 10 things that I'm rigging up for this tournament. It's at Lake Austin. It's a clear water fishery, cold. There will be some live scope fishing involved. I mean, I've been doing that quite a bit the last few times I've been out there. It's not the only way I'm catching them. You know, there's A-rigs, jerk baits, I mean, a lot of other things are working, but I'll show you the 10 things that I have rigged up. Yes, you can count it, 10 things on a spinning rod. Hopefully I can narrow it down after practice and maybe bring 4 or 5, but start with number 1. This is a OSP Do Live stick on a Northland Tackle Smeltonator. This is the original, one of the original jig heads that was popularized by Gussie when he won the Classic. It's a really good jig head. And then the OSP Do Live stick. I love this thing. I've caught tons of fish on all these different sizes. They're not very durable, but they have a nice, great action, just that little pintail design. Really, really good in all the sizes. Love these things. Next one, this one I was catching them on the last time I was out there. This is just this regular old Z-Man scented jerk shads, the 4-inch on a 1/8 ounce range roller. I like that slower fall, especially, you know, if the fish are not as active and they're kind of floating higher in the water column. This buoyant plastic and that light head is really good. Those fish will come up a long ways to get it. That's what I was catching them on last time out there. You know, it's really good to have different sizes of jig heads, you know, because every fish is different. So even though if you have, you know, 3 or 4 minnows all on the deck, it kind of depending on how the fish are acting, where they're at in the water column, there's a lot of different little tricks you can do to get to those specific fish, or if you need to cast a little bit further or get it down deeper quicker to reach those fish, go with a heavier head. So that's something I've learned along the way, and it's served me well. So that's why I have a lot of different sizes of jig heads and minnows rigged up right now, including this. I just did a video on this last week. This is the GetNet Juicer stick. I've caught tons of fish on this thing. This is a bigger bait. Got it on a 1/4 ounce head, but it's a bigger bait so it falls quicker and it catches a lot of fish. So that's just something, show them a little something different. Next one, I'm excited to try this. This is the Euro Tackle Live Sonar Head, or EFS or something like that. It's a new one I just got the other day. It's got these flat sides on it. It's supposed to show up better with because it's tungsten and because of the flat sides on it. So we'll see about that. And then the Mooch Minnow. This is the electric shad, 3.5 inch bait. I'm really just kind of experimenting with this thing. Heard a lot of good things about this bait, but it's just gonna be kind of testing out this head and bait to see how it does. So 4 minnows rigged up, and that's not all I'm throwing, of course. There's a lot of finesse fishing, and for suspended fish, a power switch. I've had really good luck with this one. This is the Wizard color, I think it's called. It's an HD color, 3/8 ounce. This thing kind of darts side to side. It's really good for forward-facing sonar. There's a lot of different sizes and colors, and this thing has really been getting pretty popular from those who use it, the power switch. Now, the other stuff I'm gonna show you is a lot more traditional. You know, none of the forward-facing needed or required, but you know, you gotta have a Neko rig. This one's kind of jacked up here, but this is the Maxcent Hitworm, the Magnum Hitworm. Got a just a regular lead head in there, VMC weight, and then I got a little piece of silicone tubing on there. Been catching them a lot on this fall on a lot of different lakes besides Lake Austin, but it just can't go wrong with the Neko rig, no matter where you're fishing. Also got to have a small swim bait. Still kind of playing with this Drip Swimmer. Usually I throw a little small Kitech or the Mayor, but this is just a different one I'm trying out. I have fished it a little bit, but it has really subtle tail kick. Haven't caught any on it yet, but I'm still kind of in the process of reviewing this. I'll have a video on this after I've kind of have a better idea of where it performs and how it performs, but it looks really natural. I also got Ned rig head, nothing on it yet. I'm gonna just throw a Z-Man TRD or the big TRD, you know, casting around isolated trees, rock, docks, anything like that. Really Ned rig is still one of my favorite baits. Always got to have one rigged up. Same with this, the old drop shot. You know, I'm gonna put something on here. I'll probably put a robo worm or a little finesse worm, but you know, you always have to have a drop shot again for those docks. Just standard drop shot weight and hook. I'm gonna rig one up on one of my rods, and the drop shot is something I have tied on all the time. Even though all these other baits are a lot more flashy, things like that, you know, drop shot is how I did well in this, pretty much the same time of year last year on this tournament. It was really tough. Caught them all in a drop shot robo worm, so I'll definitely have one rigged up. And last but not least, this is the Core Tackle hover rig. This is a little bit heavier one. I had a lighter one on here so the hook wasn't so big, with this little Bass Tricks Swim Tricks, I think it's called. Fits in there really well. But this is kind of like that power switch. It has kind of really nice darting action side to side. Like I said, I put a little heavier head on there just so I can get it down quicker. The last few times I've used it, it was good, but it just falls really slow. So I put a heavier one on there. The hook's a little bit too big, so I'm kind of rethinking that a little bit, but I'm gonna give it a shot. It's good for casting anytime you see bait fish out there. Just kind of gives them a different look. I had tons of fish following this, caught some smaller bass on it the last trip, but really every time it seemed like fish really paid attention to this rig, you know, really got their attention. They would come up for it, at least look for it, look at it. So I'm definitely gonna fish this a little bit more and kind of include that in my practice for this tournament. So again, hope to narrow it down. I mean, I don't want to have 10 spinning rods on the boat, but that's just kind of what happened. That's how it is right now. So let me know. I mean, what do you think of my thought process here? And again, I will follow up with how I did in the tournament. Good or bad, let you know. I mean, it's gonna be cold. It's not gonna be an easy tournament. I think last year it took 6 pounds or something like that to get a check. You know, I think I had 8 or 9. I mean, it wasn't very much at all. But, you know, I think just getting a limit will be key. That's why I got all this finesse stuff. But hopefully I can luck into some big ones and do well in the tournament. Again, I'll follow up next week. Thanks for watching.